Your caller is hung up. Thank you for using the Tri-State Relay Service. Have a wonderful night. Relay was directed by David Mackenzie, who's done films like Perfect Sense and Hell or High Water, and this film deals with whistleblowers. What is a whistleblower, you may ask? Well, I'll tell you, nameless individual, if you'll shut up and stop cutting me off. Why the hell are you always cutting me off? You never let me speak, you bastards! Okay, whistleblower basically is anybody that works for a high-ranking government entity or big old media corporation or a big old pharmaceutical tech, whatever the fuck, or a big old nanotech, any company is basically doing a lot of nefarious shit. And then an employee will have all they can stand. They can't stand anymore. They're going to whistle while they work. They're going to bring them all down, whistle while they work. Whole point is basically they want to blow the doors wide open. They want to go to the papers if they have to. Shrieking Randy Orton and legendary noises. Okay, enough weird references that nobody gets. Basically, a whistleblower just wants to bring everybody down. And they're putting their lives, their bodies, their families, everything at risk. Some people, however, don't get to follow through on that because they get snuffed out, shall we say, or they sign an NDA, shrieking Tony Khan noises. Basically, the idea is whistleblowers sometimes can go to the papers, get it blown wide open, or they take a cash payout and they give the stuff back, or basically they just end up sometimes disappearing and never to be seen or heard from again, including their family. Basically, it's a sinkhole of corruption. And when you get involved in a sinkhole of corruption and you just get cold feet, you don't want to do anything anymore. You just want to go on and live your life like you did before you decided to just grow a spine and then say, no, I'm not going to do this. I'm melting. Oh, what a world. What do you end up doing? I mean, you could get the stuff back and maybe the corporation will listen to you. Maybe they'll give you a cash payout. Maybe they'll do something bad for you. In the case of some people, they call the Tri-State Relay Service. What is the Tri-State Relay Service? It is referenced in the movie Relay. This is from Bleecker Street. This was the Regal Mystery movie, by the way. Just in case you're wondering why this review is out about, 10 days before the movie officially comes out for a wide release. The Tri-State Relay Service basically is an underground entity that acts as a medium between this corporation and the whistleblower and finds a way to basically move money, broker a deal, person can go on with their lives. They keep a secure copy just in case this corporation gets the bright idea to go after this person again. And then there you go. We have our mystery, suspense thriller called Relay. So this got some attention on the film festival circuit. I saw some trailers and thought it was all right. There's Riz Ahmed, who was in Rogue One and Venom. He plays John, who, hey, that's my name, except his is spelled more normally. And he is, he works for the Tri-State Relay Service. He's very, very good at his job. He also has some things that he is going through, some struggles from his past that's revealed a little bit later on. And he has a new client, Sarah, played by Lily James, going all the way back to basically Cinderella, the live-action Cinderella, i.e. one of the only good Disney live-action adaptations, as well as Baby Driver and the Iron Claw. Yay, the Iron Claw. That's just the memory I want to have. Look, the movie looked great, and it was factually incorrect to the point that I wanted to put my head through a wall. So Sarah is worried because there is this company called Cybo Cementus. Stop laughing. This is serious. It's spelled semen, by the way. That is why I said be serious. I could not help, but once they've revealed how it was spelled, I couldn't take that part seriously. I'm like, you had to spell it like that. Why? Why'd you do that? Why'd you do that, movie? So, nevertheless, basically Sarah is worried because she thinks various people are after her. Turns out she's right, and John must find a way to basically work in conjunction with the Tri-State Relay Service. She must find a way to basically get all these documents back and all this stuff, bingo, bango, suspense, mystery, and so on. Okay, so this was written by Justin Pileski. Or Pileski, whatever. I mean, I don't actually know if that's how you say his name. I don't really care. This is his feature credit. By Christ, can you tell? This movie isn't bad, but it's honestly pretty goddamn boring. It's kind of like The Accountant, but with less of a budget and also not nearly as shit as The Accountant 2. There are a few decent moments, but at about 110 minutes long, this is probably about 15 minutes longer than it needed to be. And also there is a twist, because of course, shrieking M. Night Shyamalan noises, where we have to have a twist, even if everybody can fucking see it coming from a mile away. And there are also a few parts where they repeat the opening line that I had, and yeah, there are some amusing moments. And Sam Worthington is also in this, who has managed to have quite the career basically playing the same fucking guy. It's actually almost weirdly impressive. Willa Fitzgerald is in this, from Strange Darling. That's a terrific movie. You need to check that out. Also, Jared Abrahamson. Victor Garber is in this, actually in a brief role. You will recognize that name. Look at his IMDb page. Look at what he has been in. But realistically, the movie just, it has a lack of stakes. There's a lack of stuff to sink your teeth into. And while, yes, it is stripped down and there are some cool elements to it, when it finally tries to kick things into gear in the third act, I just ended up laughing because I go, okay, I think you took a little bit too long. Like, you tried to simmer something, then you turn the burner off, and it's like, oh shit, we got to do this. And anytime the movie threatens to actually try to do anything interesting, it just fails to do so. So it just ends up kind of being, not bad, not great. Ends up being all right. You may end up enjoying it if you check it out in theaters when it's out in a little bit. But that being said, I'm going to get into spoilers. So there you are, 3, 2, 1, and spoilers. So basically, in the beginning, Dr. Dre said there was rap. Who am I to argue with Dr. Dre? He was not in this movie, as hilarious as that would have been. There is a character named Hoffman who basically ends up, he's brokering a deal with Victor Garber's character for Optimo Pharmaceuticals. Something, whatever the hell it was. Basically, the idea is in this system, you meet the person at a restaurant, public place, you have the envelope, they keep the secure copy, the Tri-State Relay Service. That's going to be in your head, by the way, after you watch this. You will probably hear Tri-State Relay Service in your sleep. And you must also take a picture with the person. Take a selfie. Geez, oh, look, it's a hashtag. We're making a deal. I actually don't think that's how a hashtag would work. Basically, Hoffman then is instructed to get on a train, go somewhere else, start his new life. And Riz Ahmed, I will say, is actually pretty good in this. He's very low-key. I actually was afraid at first that they weren't going to have him speak, but they did have him speak later. And his actual name isn't John, it's Ash. And that being said, he also goes to AA meetings because he gave into alcoholism. It turns out he used to work for Wall Street, and there was a lot of corruption. He ended up taking an signing an NDA, taking a cash payout, but kept drinking. Eventually had to get to where he was doing, trying to do better stuff. And that's why he got with the Tri-State Relay Service. I will say the one thing I did like about it, and I don't think they explored it enough, because it reminded me too much of The Accountant. Remember when they had that big room of people that were doing all that stuff? Because they were all in that facility, and they were all doing that, and it was like a big old network thing. And they did in The Accountant and The Accountant 2. Remember that? They kind of do the same thing here, but they use deaf, hard of hearing people, or even people that are mute, which I thought was kind of neat. And I was like, oh, we could use this as an element. It's not necessarily used badly. It's just used more as a gimmick. Like they use it like twice. I'm not saying you need to totally rely on it. I actually would have been happy if Ash had ended up being kind of fairly mute, or maybe deaf, and he could only hear doing the typing and everything, like on almost a speak and spell like thing. Actually, it was like a speak and spell and a receipt machine. I mean, I know what it is, but you'll recognize the tech there. I mean, I just wanted to say that. But we find out more about him. We find out that Sarah, has to go through the system, and there's like a 311-page document. And also Dawson, played by Sam Worthington, is leading a crew and everything to track down Sarah, which they track her down pretty easily. She gets to a new apartment, and then there's even, the median, the Tri-State Relay Service are doing all that stuff. And eventually a pseudo kind of romance develops, a camaraderie develops between Sarah and John, aka Ash. And the thing, I'm skipping over quite a bit of this stuff because really not a lot happens for a while. There is like this kind of okay part at this airport where basically you have to take this certain amount of money. I think it's like $50,000. Mail it. It goes to a P.O. box. This kind of stuff. It gets shifted around. Priority mail. But in the case of the corporation, they got to pay 10 times that to get their information back. So also, Ash has this, like old, it's like the storage facility retrofitted where he's got a bunch of, he's got the secret files and stuff and everything. Or the secure editions. And, you know, I think there was like one about Kennedy, which, okay, you know, get it, like it is what it is. But he has the Optimo Pharmaceuticals, and then this one about Cybo Cementus. Again, shut up. This is serious. We're not going to think about semen when it's involving these women, even if Willa Fitzgerald is incredibly attractive. Good grief. With respect, I'm so happy that Willa Fitzgerald's getting more stuff. Isa Davis also plays a character named Wash that is in AA, but also is a cop. More on that here in a bit. Hoffman also is making contact with Ash, kind of feeling bad in his calls. They don't get unhinged in the sense that he's mad at Ash, but he feels bad because he gave all this stuff back because he didn't want to, you know, go through with it. And now the pharmaceuticals are damaging people more. All this stuff. And all that stuff about Cybosematus turns out to actually be just a smokescreen. All this stuff about Dawson, various people, you know, targeting Sarah. They decide to basically make a whole big deal where Sarah, you know, is talking to him, ends up calling him, saying they figured out your real name is James. That's not his name. That's not my name. That's not my name. The Ting Tings, I think, is the name of that group. And she's not going to meet this, you know, Franklin, I believe is the name of the Cementus guy, the Semenitis guy. Yeah, that would have been really bad if they called it Semenitis. I might have just started busting out laughing in the theater and had to leave. Which I nearly did leave, by the way, because this movie was pretty boring. I mean, it's not even bad, it's just boring. But she can't meet him at the restaurant. She's going to go to a concert and do that. And that seems a little bit weird. So he decides, I'm going to do something insane. There's those people there, all these other, you know, patrons. Took a piece of glass and stabbed one of the guys in the ass. I believe it was the character of Ryan, if I remember right. And none of the characters are very distinct. Like, even Sam Worthington's character is just kind of basic. He ends up saving her. Ends up taking her to the whole, to Grand Central Station. She's going to take off. And then she calls, and she's been captured. Oh no. He decides, okay, I'll save her. I'll get you the information that you need and stuff like that. We'll figure this out, because she ended up leaving out a key piece of the 16-page Appendix C thing that led to this reveal, or led to, you know, this capture and all that stuff. But now, all bets are off. All the money, all that stuff and everything, all bets are off. And now it's just up to Ash to save Sarah. They get in a fight in a van in the tunnel going to Newark. And he throws one out. I think that was a character of Lee. So yeah, Lee goes, wee. They trusted Willa Fitzgerald. I don't know if I trust a dirty blonde to drive, but nevertheless. And gets in a fight with Dawson. And suddenly, you know, the taser that was used on him, Sarah grabs it and tases Ash, and she was in on this the whole time. Oh, pretends to be fucking shocked. It was all about the Optimo Pharmaceuticals thing. They need the secret file, because they're going to do this and whatever. And it was all smoke screen. It was all a lie. And they go to the storage facility thing, and he messes up the code, so it causes some smoke and stuff like that. And we get brief action, not really though. He also ended up just before all this stuff went down, he texted Wash saying he needed help. He actually decided to have a bit of a drink, but spit it back out. Okay, AA works. Hooray! Good on him. More on that here. When it looks like he's really fucked, like he got hit by a car. He's trying to get out, trying to get to a train, but he's kind of in the middle of nowhere. It is fucking Jersey. You don't really want to be anywhere there on foot or in general. Sorry to people in Jersey, but basically I'm just going to throw this away right here. He ends up in an opening. all this shit's going on. Like, Sarah's got the gun aimed at him. She needs the code, though, to get that thing. Oh, he drops the gun, you won't do it. She's about to, and then suddenly the cops show up, and Wash gets everybody there. The only one that wasn't captured was Rossetti, played by Willa Fitzgerald. I assume because they think they could get a sequel out of this. Oh, I don't think that's a very good idea. Like The Accountant 2 wasn't a good idea. But, yeah, then he ends up taking off, so I assume either he's still with the Tri-State Relay Service or he's doing something. I don't know. I don't know. There's like one part where he communicates with the guy to get like Sarah her ID before all this stuff blows up. And he's deaf, so he's using sign language and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, see, this is creative. We could, maybe not creative, but this is kind of like good that we could do this. And we're not going to bother investing in that. Okay, yeah, that checks out. So, yeah, he ends up taking off. He thinks that, like, there's going to be two people, like, trying to target him, but it turns out they're just old friends and everything's good. Paranoia, everybody's coming to get him. They say they never met him. He's running underground with the moles, digging holes. Enough Harvey Danger references. C+, it's fine. It is probably a movie that I will not remember much after I cut this review. Agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Ritlin. Until we relay again, have a wonderful night. You too.